Nobody, no man and no woman, is precisely what they think they are. Love is where you find it, and you don't know where it will carry you. And it is a terrifying thing. Love. It is the only human possibility, but it's terrifying. And a man can fall in love with a man, a woman can fall in love with a woman. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's not in the province of the law. There's nothing you do with the church. And if you lie about that, you lie about everything.
I have a secret that I can't keep. I'm not the boy that you thought you wanted. Please don't get angry. Have faith in me. Say I shouldn't be here, but I can't give up his touch. It is him I love. It is him.
Yeah, it's more dramatic on my side.
Yeah, okay, let's start with the easy side.
Yeah, I'll start with the easy
Okay, so I came out, was it last year?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I came out quite recently. Because it's just like, you know what, took me a while to actually just get comfortable with who I am and decide that I'm gonna start dating and all of that. So when I eventually came out, I was just chatting with my mom, and it's like, I'm not sure if you've been aware all these years, because we never really discussed girls. Like, my mom is so easygoing and she doesn't really probe into all these little details in my life to say, okay, fine, so who are you seeing, when am I meeting your girlfriend, when I'm gonna get grandbabies. Like, my mom has never been that pushy in terms of, she's like, she wants us to live life at our own pace. So in her mind, she thought that I was just, okay, fine, focusing on my school, I'm focusing on my career, and then when I'm ready, I would then say, okay, fine, I'm ready for love and all of this. And just like, I'm not sure you've been aware, but I'm gay and I'm happy. I made it a point to say I'm not sorry, like to apologize, because I think that's one thing that a lot of gay guys to say, I'm gay, I'm sorry for whatever reason. So I was very conscious in avoiding using those words, and she was just like, you know what, I'm really sorry that you've been going through all of this on your own. She had no idea, but she's really happy. It's life, basically, that if that's who I am, then that's who God made me. So it's not a train smash. And it's just like, oh, okay. And then I think I was cooking that day actually. I sat down and just like, I just came out. And he was just like, really, what happened? And I just like had a chance. Yeah, so for me it was very easy, and I think my mom is literally the only person I felt like I needed to come out to, because she's been that figure in my life. Anybody else, I'm just like, what else? So I came out to my friends first before I came out to my mom, and my friends were actually cool with it as well. Some even thought it was a joke. When I came, I was just like, okay, fine, you're joking. And then one of them actually broke down, because she's just like, oh, flip. Now my friend will be bullied, he'll be hated for being who he is. And just like, you know what, we're cool. Both my friends and my mom, they love this guy. Yeah. So for me it wasn't, no drama, no theatrics, no, I didn't even cry.
So I'm very lucky in that I come from a very chilled out family. So it was never going to be a big thing anyway. But because you are now having somebody serious in your life, they always want to know who that person is. So from that perspective, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to introduce you to my family, and then we're going to last for 3 months, and then what happens? I'm like, okay.
But also, you hadn't necessarily been out to your family.
No, I hadn't brought anybody home to my family. There's a difference. Because for me, there was absolutely no reason for me. I think they had different people within my family had met certain people in the duration of my life, that they had their own perspective and they'd made their own conclusions about who they were in my life at that moment. But I hadn't sat my family down and said, oh, by the way, I'm into men. They'd never that because I never had to have that conversation. As far as I'm concerned, and I think as far as they're concerned as well, I think it would have been more of a shock to my family if I had brought a woman to the house. So it's kind of like, really? We got that wrong. But so it was very easy for that to happen. And it was a natural thing, and because they have been exposed I mean, I've got uncles that are gay. I've got aunts that are gay. So it's not really my aunts and uncles have circles of gay friends. So it wasn't a total shock to the system, to anybody really.
That I'm not. I guess, having a lesbian sister as like an older sister kind of paved the way for me. It made it easier for my parents to understand what was happening. But I never really got to come out. It wasn't a, guys, can I speak to you? I have something very important to relay. I'm gay, It wasn't a sit down session for me. It was literally just my mom asking me how was my first Pride, because I had gone with my sister, and I was telling her about all these celebrities that I saw, Sade, all of them, and that was the first time I saw them at Soweto Pride. And I told my mom that, do you know that these celebrities are also gay? And she was like, are you? And I was like, oh yeah. Yep. And she was like, clearly something's off with her genes, but it was a joke. Yeah, but I never really got to come out. I've just always lived my truth for some reason. And it's because of my older sister, definitely.
The only person who ever confronted me was my brother, my eldest brother. Called me aside, he's like, hey, you and Mandy are dating. I'm like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I knew it. And then he hugged me and told me he loves me, and he still tells me, so I've never actually sat my family down and had to come out. They know Mandy. If they can't reach me, they call Mandy and find out where. So now it's not even a secret. It's just the family knows, but I didn't have to sit down and tell them that I'm even gay. They just know that Mandy's my partner.
So I was always like a flamboyant boy, like very different to all the other boys out there. Playing with dolls, playing soccer one-on-one, doing this, dancing up the road. So my family kind of knew that I'm a different boy. And then I was bullied at a young age with the name calling and things. So, but personally I didn't feel that I was attracted to guys at that young age. And then in my teenage years I actually had an encounter, and then I felt this attraction growing and this development of feelings towards guys, and it was a journey for me. But luckily I had open friends that I could speak to about, and when I came out I brought my boyfriend home, so that's how I came out. Easy. And I actually expected my dad to be like, and get out, but he was like the opposite, so I would treasure that. And it's not easy for everybody, and for me, I'm really grateful for having the parents that I do, that they love me unconditionally and they support me.
My story is different. So I was teased for being gay in primary. I didn't quite understand it because, I don't know, I think in small towns, our idea of someone being gay is, don't be homophobic. I'm not being say. I think it's a bit stereotypical that if you're gay, you behave in a certain way, and because of that, and the fact that you were teased about it always seemed like there's something wrong. There's something wrong with you that you have to fix, and it was a bit difficult. But I think my mother didn't care. I'd come home and complain about it. I was like, yeah, so like this is the one thing that I always say, that I believe that your mother always knows. And then when I got to high school, things sort of changed a bit. I was very reserved because I didn't want to be myself. I didn't want to be too gay. And so I didn't play any sports. And I did, I'm lying. But I didn't play like rugby and soccer because I sucked at soccer and I'd exposed myself. So I kept to self and very small circles of friends. And then I went to varsity, and things got worse in varsity actually, because I was very conflicted with whether I was gay or not, and it didn't make sense to me because growing up you're told that it's wrong and it's immoral, and so in varsity, and then I started dating this guy.
So are you trying to say I tend to gay?
I've always been. I'm just
Okay.
explaining. So,
True or not?
and then in varsity, in varsity it was like, especially the first year. I think like my first year was the most confusing year. Just like you're gay, but you just cannot be who you really are. But I didn't care much, eh? And then I met.
But you're a loner as well.
Yeah, so I think.
Nah, he's quite a...
I'm okay with that also. So yeah, so eventually we started dating, and I don't know, there's something different about you. There's something that made me comfortable. And when we eventually went home, and I realized how my family took you in, it was like, oh, so this really isn't like a big deal. And yeah.
Anyone in the LGBT community knows that you come out many times in your life. Like you come out to like in so many ways, at work, at home, with friends. You just keep coming out like all your life. But I guess the first time I came out was to my friends. So I was in a girls' boarding school, and I started dating this girl. She was my first. I had always been kind of like in denial about, like being gay and all of that, and so we started dating.
In denial, you were a homophobe.
I was a homophobe, so I went all the way to the other spectrum of a homophobe. Oh my god, what is it with lesbians? What. Anyway,
And
that's...
she did the gay
at school. Then I started dating some girl at school, and it was all hush hush. I was in the boarding house, and then eventually I was like, you know what, like this is silly. So I told a bunch of my friends, and I was like, guys, you know what, actually I'm gay. Like that's...
My mother used to say, I wonder how parents deal with this disease. She used to refer it to a disease. So you can imagine me even thinking of coming out when hearing such things around her. It wasn't easy at all. And unfortunately, you have to laugh to not show yourself out. You have sometimes to put input on those things and nod and whatever, but personally you're dying on the inside because they're describing you. And to hear that from a mother, it wasn't easy. And then it got to when I went to varsity in this 2016, when I told her, I came out to my sister in 2013 and she was okay with it. She tried the whole, we're Christians business. I was just telling her, I don't want your approval. And then my baby brother decided to not speak to me for a month and a half. Like he totally cut me out. And I was fine with that. I mean, they're not significant, but my mom didn't know. She was still very much in denial. Until in 2016 when I met him, and I was ready to risk it all. I felt now I'm grown, I have a degree, even if they cut me out, I can always rise from it. And then I told her, unfortunately, the fear that built all those years ago of listening to what she had to say, I knew she would reject me, so I'm one of the people who came up apologetic about it. Told her, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gay. I didn't choose, trying to plead my case because I was trying to make her understand where I'm coming from. And her response was she will pray that God helps her to accept me in a way that's comfortable for me, and that she wasn't expecting that. She's disappointed and stuff like that. And there's a term she used that we always joke about. There's a clue as yeah. So yeah, it wasn't an easy thing. And then unfortunately, after I came out, I started feeling the difference from them.
Yeah, they pulled away.
They pulled away, and I went through a very bad emotional breakdown. They cut me off practically. It became a mission sending me money for food, and unfortunately, like I mentioned to you, this sense of when you meet someone, you don't want them to feel like you want them for something. I couldn't even tell him that I don't have food at school, and I would eat off with friends. And one night he caught me out and I just broke down. I just couldn't help it in front of him. That's when he figured the story. And since then he was like, you know what, I'm going to be there for you and you don't have to worry about them. And yeah, he didn't know for some time, because you don't want to give the idea that you're bringing trouble to your life. I didn't want to give that off, and I knew I was hoping it was a passing thing. So from there on, it's been that, and eventually they changed around when they saw, I think their biggest turning point was grad.
Yeah.
Because he carried all the costs from my grad. It was another pain, because you'd assume your family would know from the beginning of, because I was graduating in June of 2016. They knew from the December previously that I was graduating. So you'd expect them to plan stuff and whatnot. But grad day came, nobody wanted to give me suit money, nobody wanted to pay for my grad photos, nobody wanted to do anything. Mom didn't even want to come to grad. I had to blackmail her to come to grad. And he covered everything. And it's like, I don't want you to stress on this day, I want it to be a memorable day for you. It's a special day. I don't care what they do or what they think. I'll make it work for you. And he did. And I smile when I think about it today, because he made it happen. It wasn't an easy thing. And after they saw that, his commitment, and after I finished school, I didn't go back home because they cut me off immediately after that. I didn't have money for toiletries. Funny enough, and he took me in and it's like, look, we're going to do this together. And we did it, and got a job with him in February 2017.
Yeah.
That's when I got a job, and she had already floated me to him at the time, and he just saw me through all of it. And I got the job because he gave me money to go to interviews and whatnot. So it wasn't an easy coming out story. And then eventually when they saw how he just cares and loves me, then they turned around, and now she calls him that son. So yeah, it's been a journey coming out. I won't lie, it's been drama everywhere. Yeah, but now they are cool. We went to spend time with them and it was fun and stuff. I think I'm just glad he also doesn't hold a grudge, because ideally he would be repulsive to someone who brings me pain, but he embraced them as well. He didn't hold that against them. So
yeah,
that's my comments. It wasn't easy.
Oh my God, you're right. Okay, you're right. So, my dad's a bishop, and yeah, yours is interesting. Yeah. So he gave this to me. But before we get to how he gave this to me, my sister told my parents I'm dating a woman. I don't know what her intentions were, but she told them. So I got called in for a family meeting. I get home and my parents are like, what's going on in your life? And I'm just like, okay, so since we last caught up, I caught them up in my life, and then I was like, yeah, and I'm dating Tabang. And they're like, a woman. And I'm like, yes. And they're like, right. So my mom was all like, what have I done as a mother? Oh! My dad was like super quiet the whole time, and as he always is, really. Mom was like busy blaming herself, and she was trying to trace back to a time where maybe she would have mothered me wrong for me to become a gay, and like, you know, it was a lot. And then my dad offered to drive me back to Tabang's place. And he had this book with him. And he was like, you know, my child, God is love, and love is love. this is what you want for yourself, I'm happy for you. As long as you find a life with God, and as long as you and Taban can like strengthen your relationship through God, and I'm a complete atheist, so don't believe in God at all, but it was cool, it was fine, you know, he came from the right place. So he gave me this book, and he's like, you and Tawang should read it together, and you know, talk to me if you have any questions. And I was like, cool. A few weeks down the line, we're planning my sister's wedding, and we're picking decor for my sister's wedding, as you do, and we're choosing drapes. So we're like, oh, what kind of draping do we want? And my family all wanted one type of drape. And I was like, I really like this drape, which is different from everybody else's choice. And for a moment, my dad was silent. And then he slams his hand against the table and he goes, not everything is about you and your sexuality. I was like, what? We're choosing drapes.
I just one day got a phone call. I didn't even get the phone call. I just got home and my mother at that stage, my foster mother, she said to me that your father said that you must stay here and I must adopt you because you're gay and they can't have you influencing your baby sister. You can't have you making your baby sister gay or something like that. And yeah, I was totally distraught. I was totally broken down. But since then, I had built my own life and I got over it. And after in matric, I joined the Navy. And so I finally got the guts to tell everybody else who didn't know yet that I was gay, although probably knew. And my father and I had since made up and we've patched things up and we're very on good terms now. So it's been a rough ride, but I think I'm better for it at the end of the day. And my heart goes out to other people who have it worse. So because I could think that I could have 10 million other things could have happened to me. I could have turned to drugs, I could have turned to prostitution, I could have done anything else, and I still, suicide, which is now the big topic, and I didn't, and I just stuck to the straight and narrow and made my best of myself. So, and my heart goes out to other people who have similar battles and whose parents are unforgiving and didn't make plans. Like I try and see the good that I got. Like my father made sure I was still somewhere safe, and I was still looked after.
I was basically kind of forced out in the sense that the girl who I was dating when her and I broke up, who was going through the most, like her family beating her and whatnot, there was a day when she left home, but like she came to my apartment bloody, like, and then we decided that we're gonna go and open up a case against the person who beat her up, and we went to the police station, and then like she was just like getting calls, like really strange calls from this person who, and they'd be like threatening her and threatening me, you know, because they knew that I was in the picture, so they would threaten both of us. So I kind of just had to like, you know, be like, listen, what if something, because these people are like, you know, like, I don't know what, like how far they go, you know. So I was like, maybe I should just like call my mom, or not really call her, but let her know what's going on, because it would be really messed up if something happened and she had no idea what the backstory was or what was going on. But yeah, so that's how I came out. She said she knew, she said she loved me, and I thought everything was okay. But like over the next couple of months, because she didn't like my partner, she just kept like being really like
weird, and she'd tell me, oh, my mother's been trying to ship me off for a long time. Like, she's been trying. Like, when I was dating that girl, she was just like, don't you want to go to, like, America? Don't you want to go to, like, you know, maybe you should go to China. Maybe you should, you know, she was just, like, trying to get me out of that. And I had never even ever said anything to her about it. I've never ever said, ooh, you know, there's so much crap going on in my relationship or whatever. But she just, apparently. So yeah, she tried to like shut me off a couple of times, and I was like, no, please, I don't want to go. Actually, I didn't cry. I'm very like, there's a word. What's the word I'm looking for? I stand up for myself. Yes, I put my foot down. Assertive. There we go. Yes. So I'm very assertive. So every time when she would, you know, say to me, then maybe you should like, and I'd be like, Mommy, please leave me alone. Like, you've lived your life. Can you let me live mine? And it's true. I really do believe. I know that from her it came from a good place, but I do think that that parents do just need to let their kids make the mistakes. And yes, sometimes it's a detrimental mistake, but most times, I mean, you just have to live. There's nothing you can do. And most times you're not even going to listen when someone tells you not to do something, you know. So I said to her, nope, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. In fact, I'm going to stay right here. I'll see her next weekend. So, yeah. And she was like very weird for a while. And then I moved to China and she was like calm. Actually, no, before I moved to China, I broke up with that girl. So I wasn't seeing her as much. And my mom could see that I wasn't seeing her because I moved back home. She could see that like I'm not really in that space with that human anymore. And she calmed down.
An ode to queer boys. For the boys like us who learn quickly to swallow themselves and burp grenades. For the boys like us who learn at infancy how to be fluent at speaking the languages of fists and swallowing of rocks. For boys like us who demand that their hips do not shake when they move. For boys like us who learn to swallow the pages of religious text so loud that they silence themselves. For the boys like us who learn to pray so they do not betray themselves when they speak. For boys like us whose default position is to never choose themselves first. For boys like us whose pain comes from being themselves. For boys like us who love in secret ways. For boys like us who make up partners of the opposite sex when they speak. For boys like us who love other boys in ways that are seen as sinful. For boys like us whose daily prayer is escaping death today as they did yesterday. For boys like us who hate themselves from the bone out. You are deserving. You are worthy. For boys like us who chose death because it was a kinder friend than the world. For boys like us, hell is an everyday reality. For boys like us, some of you remain the devil, and hell is found in your speech and fingertips.